Welcome to SVG Television News for Thursday, August 21st, 2014. I am Jimmy Prince with the details. In the news tonight, former Registrar Tamara Gibson Marks was today granted bail in the sum of $30,000 after pleading not guilty to 3 criminal charges. Gibson Marks appeared at the Magistrates Court before Senior Magistrate Reshawn Matthias Browne and was charged with abuse of office, theft of $21,925, property of the mediation program of the High Court, and false certification by a public officer. Gibson Marks' bail was granted with one surety. The former registrar is expected back in court on Tuesday, October 7th, when the preliminary inquiry will commence. Gibson Marks will, however, appear in court in September to give reasons why she should not be disbarred from practicing law in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Meanwhile, journalist Kenton Chan says that there was no malicious intent involved in the decision to include some information, which turned out to be false, in the posting on his online media Page 1 Witness News on the arrival of the former High Court Registrar at the E.T. Joshua Airport yesterday afternoon. The information, which was included in the initial story, implied that one of the vehicles assigned to the Prime Minister's entourage was used to pick up the former registrar from the airport. Chance described the incident as unfortunate and told SVG Television News that after realizing that the information was not accurate, he retracted the article, replacing it with a corrected version, after which he said he called the Prime Minister and apologized. Opposition MP Dr. Godwin Friday is urging the government to deal with the fiscal problems of the country now. In Parliament on Tuesday, Dr. Friday said that the government needs to start making some tough decisions in order to deal with the issue of poor fiscal performance.
Don't ask the Musty company, for example, to pay their contributions $1.5 million 4 or 5 years in advance, because you're spending it now. What are you going to do next year and the year after when that money doesn't come in? We are just postponing catastrophe, Mr. Speaker. And that word is not too strong. And I hope that this is actually a wake-up call for us to manage the people's affairs better. And as a Minister of Finance, that is his obligation, and the people who run the NIS, they have a fiduciary responsibility, not just to the not to the members in this House. They have a managerial responsibility, yes, to the Minister of Finance, but they have a fiduciary responsibility to all those people who put their money and their faith in the NIS. And they are accountable not to the members of this House or to this government or to any next government. They are accountable in law as well to the people who put their money there.
Leader of the opposition, Arnhim Eustace, says that had he known that the government was not paying over to the National Insurance Services contributions for its employees, he would not have supported the proposal put forward in Parliament last year to increase the retirement age and the minimum number of contributions to ensure that the NIS remained viable. Eustace made a comment at Tuesday's sitting of Parliament as government and opposition made their contributions to the debate on a resolution put forward by Prime Minister Dr. Gonzalez. This is to raise the amount of $15 million to liquidate outstanding contributions owed by the government.
Today, we know now that the government did not live up to its responsibility to hand over to the NS the 5.5%, and before that the 4.5%. Neither did they do so with respect to the contributions that were deducted from the salaries of public servants, which should have gone to the NS on a monthly basis. And I understand the net amount that goes to the NS for that was somewhere in the order of $1.6 or $1.7 million per month. So they were not paid over to the NS.
Meanwhile, Mr. Eustace told Parliament that information he received shows that the last payment made to the NIS by the government for its employees was done back in April 2013. However, Prime Minister Dr. Gonzalez stated earlier that due to expenses related to the floods and other fiscal issues, the central government was not able to meet the $1.7 million monthly commitment to pay the contributions. But Eustace is of the opinion that this was an excuse based on the date of the last payment.
So what were they used for? They were used to deal with the poor fiscal situation which we've been talking about in this Parliament for years. That's what they were used for. And now we're coming to tell people, oh, we're putting that right now. But you're not putting it right. Because those payments now, and the proposal being presented to us in this Parliament, means that the INS is going to get back the money over 10 years at 4.5%.
The opposition leader also claimed that the actual amount owed to the NIS by central government for the non-payment of contributions surpasses the figure declared by government. Eustace told the Parliament that according to information he received, the amount owed is $23 million and not $15 million as indicated by the government. He further disclosed some of the other information he said he had in his possession as it relates to monies owed by the central government.
I also have information that suggests that with respect to statutory bodies, there's some withholding of those payments also, amounted possibly to $3 million. And I believe for the general public, the private sector and so forth, there's another $10 million or so in contributions that have not been paid over to the NIS. And of course, various reasons will be advanced by the various groups for those non-payments. If one looked at it in that context, Mr. Speaker, we're talking about $36 million. That should have been paid over.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Gonzalez made it clear that government does not have many investments at the NIS and that its exposure to the NIS is the lowest in the region at 10%. Giving support to Prime Minister Gonzalez, Senator Browne said that it is the intention of the government to keep investments at the NIS at a minimum.
Show that there is a policy position articulated which says that central government debt as a percentage of the NIS investment portfolio is not going to exceed 25%. Now if that's not prudent management, I don't know what is prudent management again. When we come back, Taiwanese ambassador to this country, His Excellency Weber Sher, has ended his 4-year stint here. More stories on the local scene when we come back. Welcome back. A function was held last evening at the official residence of the Prime Minister to bid farewell to diplomat Weber Sher, who served for the last 4 years as Taiwan's ambassador to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The occasion saw the 3 living Prime Ministers of this country sitting together at a single-head table, and the Prime Minister Dr. Gonzalez extended gratitude to Ambassador Sher for his contribution to this country's development and the strengthening of the relationship between both countries.
We have here at the table 3 Prime Ministers who span just over 30 of the 33 years that Taiwan has relationships with St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Sir James was Prime Minister for 16 years and a few months. The Honorable Arnhim Eustace, as the record will show, had a short stint and he's hoping for another one, and I intend not to permit that. And I've been Prime Minister for 13 plus years. So that what we have here at the head table is a repository from our own standpoint of the vast number of years of St. Vincent and the Grenadines' relationship with Taiwan.
And the former Prime Minister Sir James Mitchell spoke of the contributions made by Taiwan under his administration, speaking specifically to 2 projects, including the first major financing of the VG Highway.
We are a small country. We have to understand where we are, keep expanding our knowledge so that we can be a proper partner of those who are more powerful than us.
Meanwhile, leader of the opposition, Arnhim Eustace, describes the relationship between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Taiwan as a very special one.
We don't argue in any way about the contribution that Taiwan has made to our country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in terms of its development. Not only economic, but social, and in some ways political. And I'm extremely grateful to the ambassadors that have come one after the other here to St. Vincent and Grenadines to represent Taiwan. And Ambassador Shea is no exception to that role. And I want to compliment him in that regard.
In some police news now, police at the Major Crime Unit has arrested and charged Alfonso Wilson, a 29-year-old laborer of Union Island, on 2 separate charges of theft, which are said to have occurred in Kingstown between July 7th and 9th this year. Wilson is accused of depriving Zoe David Delves of Queens Drive of almost $8,000 in cash. He appeared at the Kingstown Magistrates Court on Tuesday and pleaded guilty to the charges. He was ordered to pay back the money forthwith. In default, a 9 months jail term would be imposed. Reports are that on the date in question, Delves went to Kingstown and had her purse with her containing a credit card and other documents. She later discovered that the credit card was missing. As a result, reported the same to the police. On investigation, the police received statements from the Bank of Nova Scotia that someone had used the credit card at several business places in Kingstown. The police, having carried out investigations into the matter, arrested and charged Wilson for the offences. Over 100 children are currently involved in the Yurume Garifuna Cultural Retrieval Summer Camp at the Central Leeward Government School. The camp, which is in its 4th year, seeks to educate the youths about the Garifuna culture through songs, language and dance. In an interview with SVG-TV News Today, instructor James Lovell says the program is well received and the children are fast learners.
My class, I'm teaching the kids the songs. I teach them traditional Garifuna songs. I teach them nursery rhymes in Garifuna, and I also teach them how to play the drums and give them some background history about Garifuna history.
How would you say that the workshop has been going thus far? Well,
I have to say, you know, the kids have been very enthusiastic. They've been coming on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, for this year, we had over 140 kids, 145 come in, and it's been like that ever since we started in 2011. They've been coming and, you know, they're very enthusiastic about learning, and that's also is a motivation for me.
Director of Yugacure, that should be Yugacure, Tristan Till, says the youths are now preparing to showcase what they have learned this Sunday at the Peace Memorial Hall.
To be having the grand finale, the big concert, and so we're asking the public to come out and watch these children, because, you know, they work so hard to put this performance together, and it's most likely one of the biggest musical performance team that you would see in St. Vincent, because we have over 100 children. So we're asking the public to come out and really give them that respect of you know, being entertained by them. Very well. I mean, at one point we had to stop children from coming because it was getting a little bit overwhelming. So that's been very good. They've been very quick in terms of picking up the language. I do some history with them, and later on we're going to be doing some of the practice with them, so that we can do a run through and get the things tight for Sunday, because it rolls from one musical act to the other, to the other, to the other, and everybody's got their unique style of punta or chumba or what have you. So we're going to really be looking forward to that on Sunday.
Here's a look at what the children have been learning throughout the Yurume Garifuna Cultural Festival Summer Camp.